Top Shop. I got some shirts and I've got to fucking take them home, rip the seams, take them apart, and I've got to sew them back together to learn how to sew and shit. But, you know, we're getting this shit, baby. Oh my God, I'm actually coming here not for myself, but for my future. So basically we've done this first thing there, got the product. We might get to another stage and realize product shit and then have to come back to the start. Actually, let me read this to you. Okay. After getting your design approved, we've been approved, you get an old garment similar to your product from a second-hand shop. Did that, rip the seams and take the garment apart. Sew the garment back together and post it in the community. Repeat the steps to BC until you are confident and get approval from the mentors. Optionally, after taking the garment apart, copy the pieces onto paper, get a cheap sample fabric like muslin, and cut the pattern out of the fabric and sew the pieces together. It's the end of the first day. And boy, this shit was way tougher than I fucking thought. So first off, like this doesn't show it here. Let me see it here. There's a million fucking, it's like blending in too, and there's a million fucking like sewing thread things, whatever the hell. Bro, we got the first one. First sleeve. That's all we're gonna do, get the fucking sleeve off. The cuff, I don't know. Anyway, this bitch was hard as hell. Not as hard as my dick though. Oh. Anyway, once I finished this, I was pretty proud, but then I realized this shit fucked, and I didn't even like, I was just like ripping the fabric off and not even like getting the thread out. So yes, as you can see, some thread is still here to where it's sewed off, and that should have been, some of this should have been actually on this side, but I tore it apart from his brother. Anyway, this shit's way harder than it fucking looks. That's what she said. And I'm just gonna keep at it and see what happens, but I'm gonna rip all the seams, and then I've got to put it back together like a fucking Frankenstein. So wish me luck, bruh. So, sleeves done. That was the hard bit. And it looks fucking rough. Because it is, I was just like yanking it in, so as I showed you in the last one. But this one I was low-key getting it, but it's still rough on the bits when I wasn't, but now I'm low-key getting it. And I'm also basically a fucking Superman right now. And then I could also be like a MILF or some shit cooking up dinner. Cooking with Carter, cooking. Yeah, I said let's dance the night away.
My machine has a top bottom loader with a clear cover so I can see when I run out of thread.
Okay, I watched a video on how to put the sewing machine like together, fucking like set it up and shit. But now I'm just gonna wing it just to gain some experience with the machine and shit, and then like just to see how fucked it can be. But then after that, you know, I'm gonna go to the store, go get myself some equipment because I'm missing some stuff. And then I'm gonna get some fabric and really try this shit out, man. Let's go again.
Oh, such a failure, bro. That's a failure. Cool.
Okay, we're in the present. So, basically, I tried to sew it together, and some of the seams were good, you know. I learned a lot, and I learned that it was harder, but I learned there's like stretchy stitching and shit. But I also sewed the armhole shut, so I couldn't stick my fucking arms through. I was like a T-Rex. Anywho, anyway, any what? I learned a lot, and I just jumped straight into trying to make my own fucking shirt. And here's a little lesson for you, bro. You don't learn shit through watching podcasts and that. You learn through action, bro.
Body piece of the shirt. I'm keeping the dotted lines.
Master got me working really hard. Master gonna set me free. Some things I'm realizing is this is kind of hard. Wait, let me fucking clean shit. Shit, that's on my balls. I got my Calvin's on. Anyway, this shit really hard. And I didn't realize how important patterns would actually be. And like, I was like, oh, it's not completely symmetrical, it'll be fine. Bro, that shit made, like, that bitch is like off by a millimeter, bro. That's basically like, you know, Down syndrome people missing one chromosome. You're off by a millimeter, that's a chromosome, bang, gone. Maybe it's added, I don't know. Maybe I'm missing a fucking chromosome. Anyway, you get my analogy. You get what I'm trying to say. This shit gotta be precise. But to be honest, I'm not trying to work with much precision now. I'm just trying to get some reps in. You know, it's like the gym, bro. You don't need perfect form straight away. You're a fucking beginner. Just get some reps in. Get the motion moving. Get the truck moving. Let's get some motion, bro. You got no motion right now. Okay, I'll give you a little recap on everything that we did. So, let me set this up. First, I ripped the seams off an old garment. Low-key took a while, and I was doing it wrong the whole time, but I figured out by then how to get it without damaging the actual fabric. We learned, baby. I jumped straight into sewing, but I actually had this written down for my community so they could like look at it and shit. Not my community, but the people I'm talking with. Yada, yada, yada. I jumped straight into sewing it together for the first fucking time sewing. And you know, that shit was actually fun, and it didn't go as bad as I thought, but it was still very bad. I sewed the armhole shut. So I'm gonna try again this week. So there's a little photo of it. Yeah, all fucked up. What else? I decided, fuck it, I'm gonna make a shirt so I could get some reps in. I'm just gonna kind of order this shirt and how patterns work and how to make patterns. And boy, did I learn that shit was fucking important. I chose the shirt, didn't actually take apart the shirt, so I tried to be all techie with it and keep it. Like, I couldn't do that. So I made a pattern on some trace paper, cut out, use the trace paper, cut out some fabric, yada, yada, yada. That's when I realized how important precision and symmetry is when it comes to patterns. Let's leave that. Damn bitches did not. I didn't actually take a photo of. Yes, I did. I sewed with non-strap retrieve fabric because the dude said it would be easier, and it fucking was a little bit easier probably. I learned a lot. I learned how to use pins in order in which the fabric pattern thingies get sewed together. How not to create ruffles, stretchy stitching, and how to sew in general. All the patterns I cut were really fucking bad though. And it was really hard because everything was out of order and out of line. Because some didn't really fit. But because the patterns didn't actually properly fit. One arm was longer than the other one was a bit shorter. And there was a bunch of fabric on the inside because I tried a different sewing technique on one arm compared to the other, shall we say. But, okay. This bitch was fucked, but it was still a t-shirt. Look at that. See, like, both the shoulder ones, like the first one was fucked up. It still had a thing hanging out. I figured out how to do it on the next one, but because the actual patterns weren't like right, it had a bunch of fabric on the inside and fucked up. But you know, like, first try ever trying to make a shirt. I'm not even gonna fucking hate on myself, man. That shit was good.